Today we are discussing writing and graphing inequalities. So your essential question is, how can you use an inequality to describe a real-life statement? And a hint for that is what words could be used as clues. So be thinking about that as we're doing the lesson today. All right, so we're going to be turning real-life situations into inequalities. So it says to write each sentence as an inequality. Now, while you're doing this, you can write down the sentence and then do the example. You can also pause it before I work the example out if you want to try it on your own, or you can do a mixture and let me do an example and then try the next example on your own and pause the video. So feel free to pause the video or to go back anytime to try things on your own. So we have a number a number w minus 3.5 is less than or equal to negative 2. So they told us that a number w is representing our number, minus 3.5. So let's write that part out. So we've got w minus 3.5 is less than or equal to negative 2. So less than, I always remember that less than points to the left. So if you make your symbol, the less than, it looks like an arrow pointing to the left, or equal to negative 2. So that would be what this looks like as an inequality. If you guys are having trouble remembering less than and greater than, just remember that less than goes to the left and greater than goes to the right. So if you want to add that to your notes in case you need a reminder, then you can go ahead and add that in there. All right, let's try another one. 3 is less than a number n plus 5. So this one's a little backwards compared to what we were just doing. So in math, whenever you see is, that's kind of like equals or greater than or less than or whatever. So 3 is less than a number n plus 5. So we have 3 is less than, so less than, remember, points to the left, a number n plus 5. So the key when you're doing these is to just break apart the sentence. 3 is less than, so you just write that part, a number n plus 5. Goes in order, it's pretty easy. All right, let's try another one. 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number x plus 1. So we break that apart. We have this part. 0 is greater than or equal to. So 0. And then remember, greater than points to the right. So greater than or equal to. So the bar underneath means equal to. And then we have twice a number x. So whenever you have twice a number, that means you're multiplying it by 2. So we have twice a number x, so 2x plus 1. There we go. All right, pretty simple. All right, now what about when we are checking solutions? So let's say we want to know whether negative 4 is a solution to each of these inequalities. Okay, now when you think back to when we were solving equations in the last unit, how do we tell if something is a solution? Or when we get the solution, how do we check to see that it actually is the solution? You have to plug it in for the variable. So we're plugging negative 4 in for x to see if it's true. So then we have negative 4 plus 8 is less than negative 3. Well, what is negative 4 plus 8? Negative 4 plus 8 would be 4, and then is less than negative 3. So is 4 less than negative 3? It is not. So the answer is no. It is not a solution. All right, let's try some more. So we have negative 4.5x, so we're plugging in, we want to see if negative 4 is a solution. So we're plugging in negative 4 into the problem. So we have negative 4.5 times negative 4. Well, we know that a negative times a negative is a positive. And if we do 4.5 times 4, we would get 18. So 18 is greater than negative 21. And that is true. So the answer is yes. Negative 4 is a solution. All right, now we're going to be graphing inequalities on a number line. So we know that y is less than or equal to negative 3. So I already have a number line on here, but feel free to go ahead and draw one, or you can use the number line paper that we have in class. So we're going to, this is saying that y, which represents some number, is less than or equal to negative 3. So I know I'm starting at negative 3, okay? And it says it's less than or equal to. So if you look at your number line, where are all the numbers that are less than or equal to negative 3? Well, all the numbers to the left are less than the number, negative 4, negative 5. Those are all less than negative 3. But it also says it could be equal to negative 3. So I'm going to fill in my circle because that shows that it can also equal negative 3. So this is showing that it can be any number less than negative 3 or equal to it because the circle is closed and filled in. Okay, let's try some more. We have 2 is less than x. Now the problem with this situation is usually the variable part comes first. So if I wanted to rewrite this, remember you always say like the alligator eats the bigger number? I'm sure you guys have heard that before. Well, that means that the alligator is always eating the x. So if I switch it around to where x comes first, then I'm going to switch my sign because I always want the alligator to be eating the x. X is the bigger number. So now this says x is greater than 2. Well, here's 2. And where are all the numbers greater than 2? Well, they are to the right. They're all this direction. And it wasn't equal to, it was just greater than 2. So this shows that it can be any number greater than 2. So we have to leave the circle open this time. Okay, let's try another one. X is greater than 0. So we need to find 0. Here it is. And where are all the numbers greater than 0? They are this direction. And it goes on forever, which is why I have the arrow on the end. And it does not say equal to 0, so I'm going to leave my circle open again. All right, so now it says the graph show the height restrictions h in inches for 2 rides at an amusement park. Write an inequality that represents the height restriction of each ride. So we have ride A, which is probably some super awesome roller coaster. And so it says h in inches is the height that you can be to ride this ride. So if we look at ride A, if we look at the graph, it starts at 48 and it goes to the right. And the right show all the numbers that are greater than 48. So I know that h is greater than 48. And if I look at my circle, I notice that it's closed, so it can also be equal to 48. So basically what this is saying is that if you are taller than 48 inches, then you can ride this ride. So this one would be taller than 48 inches to ride. Okay. Now the second graph starts at 52 and it goes down. So this one shows that h is less than 52. And so this is probably some kind of kids roller coaster or kiddie ride, and they don't want adults riding it. So this one you have to be shorter than 52 inches to ride. And you'll notice that this one is not closed in, so you can't be 52 inches. You have to be less than 52 inches. this one was equal to 48 inches, so this one could be or exactly 48 inches. We can add that. Or exactly 48 inches. Okay? All right, so in summary, I just want to kind of go through this with you guys. This is a representation of the inequality in words, and then what it looks like in the algebraic terms, and then what the graph looks like. So this is a really good thing to have copied into your notes so that you know what the differences are in case you forget later. So if I'm saying less than 2, notice this is less than because it points to the left. And notice that my circle is open because it doesn't say equal to. So less than points to the left, and it is open. Okay? Then greater than points to the right. And this one doesn't have the equal to either, so it's also open. Then we have less than or equal to, so it points to the left and it has the bar under it. And my circle is closed this time. Same with greater than or equal to. We have a closed circle because it's equal to, and it points to the right because these are all the numbers greater than 2. Awesome. Okay. Now, don't forget that we always have to go back and write our summary and our 2 potential test questions. So now that you guys have finished the notes section of your Cornell notes, just make sure you go back and answer the essential question for your summary in complete sentences, and also write your 2 potential test questions on the side in the left-hand column. Thank you.